set goals.
Yep.
And set them way bigger than you think. And then start working towards them.
Yeah,
and
build a
don't
plan.
give up. Yeah, build a plan. But don't, if it's not working right away, that's normal.
Yeah.
Don't give up. Like, just keep going, because you might be right at the brink of actually seeing success.
Yeah.
And I think that truly most people fail because they quit too soon. What's up, guys? Welcome to our channel, or welcome back to our channel. My name is Taylor.
And I'm Jeff.
And we're changing things up a little bit today. We decided that we wanted to try out a little podcast style episode. And this is something we wanted to continue to do. We're not actually starting a podcast. However, we would like to think of a fun name to call this little series that we're going to be doing. But we thoroughly enjoy watching this type of content, whether we just put it on the TV and feel like we're actually sitting down, just hanging out and having a conversation. Or if, for me, I like to listen to podcasts a lot of the time when I'm riding in the car, cleaning, folding laundry, doing the dishes, cooking, things like that, to where I can listen. And it's cool to feel like you're, just hanging out with someone, and also just to hear people's perspectives. That's super interesting to me.
Yeah. I think that I know both of us, we love watching podcasts because there's a visual aspect to it. I'm already getting in trouble. Look at that.
You got to get closer
She
to the
gave
mic.
me a little head nod.
I can't hear you.
Come on, boy. Get closer. Talk with your chest. We both love podcasts because there's a visual aspect to it you can watch, and obviously a little bit of entertainment like this, bickering back and forth or whatever. But at the same time, there's, you don't have to be watching it to get the value out of it. It doesn't have to be something that you have to be sitting down, taking notes on, or completely paying attention to. You can listen to it while you're doing dishes or while you're driving or, something like that. So yeah.
I'm excited. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever asked you this before. With that being said, since I was friend zoned freshman year to senior year, I guess it was more like sophomore to senior year. But those first 3 years, what were your thoughts on me? Because I know you knew I liked you. The entire school literally knew that I liked you. So it wasn't a secret to anybody. So what were your thoughts on that? How did you perceive it? And what were you thinking? And you obviously can be honest. There's no turning back now. So.
Right. Well, and we haven't really talked about how we met either.
Oh, yeah.
So that would be really cool. Is just to kind of dive into all of this, because if we're going to start a conversation, that's a good place to start, because then we can build upon that. So for those of you guys who don't know, Jeff is almost 30. I'm going to be 29 in a few months. And so when we met, how old were we? I had to be 13 or 14. I think you were.
Yeah, because I was, the first time I saw you was my freshman year. So you were in 8th grade, actually.
Yeah.
Because we were at basketball in the old middle school gym.
Like a basketball practice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were finishing up. We had to go practice down there instead of the new gym. And yeah, I remember that the other guys on the basketball team had told me about this girl named Taylor Loffer beforehand. Yeah, she's the hottest girl, this and that. And I was just like, oh, that's cool, man. And then I saw her and I was like, whoa, all right.
We went to a small school.
Yeah, it's kind of weird saying that now because you were in 8th grade, but as a freshman, I was like, dude, she's gorgeous. So yeah, I would have been 14, turning 14 at the time.
Yeah, so I guess I was around 13 because I'm 1 year younger than you.
Mm-hmm.
So I do vaguely remember knowing who you were in 8th grade, just because we went to a really small school. But when I came to high school and I was a freshman and you were a sophomore, we actually really got to spend time together. You were in the first hour of my first class.
Shout
in high
out
school.
Coach Stokes. That man,
in computer class.
He introduced me to working out in a sideways way, you could say.
Oh, Jeff would all the time get in trouble, and the computer teacher was also my basketball coach, and he would always make Jeff do push-ups every time he got in trouble. So Jeff enjoyed getting in trouble because he wanted to look good in front of all the girls.
I was like, I can do push-ups for days, Coach. Don't worry about that.
We can also talk about some other teachers too.
Yeah,
but we'll get there.
Okay.
So yeah, we met and we were in the first hour, immediately became friends. I feel like we were in the same friend group, so that was an easy transition.
Yeah.
And then the first moment that we got to spend time, just the two of us, we were it was during a lunch break.
Straight to insults.
And immediately that's
awesome.
Our love language. We immediately just started bantering back and forth.
She was flirting with me. Don't
the friendship immediately started. But to answer your question, earlier about what I even think of you
Right.
and like during this time, I personally, like, I loved you as a person and you were
Right.
always extremely respectful for me.
My mama
and
taught me that.
yeah. Yeah, your mom definitely did a great job with that. And you were just one of my best guy friends, and I knew you had a very genuine heart. I always loved you as a person. I always like remember thinking whatever girl dates you is so lucky because you've always been kind of like a little romantic. And it's funny because in high school we dated each other's friends, which sounds crazy now.
Yeah,
but
we went to a really small school.
went to
Though.
a
I don't
but
think a lot
we
of people
were-
know that.
yeah, but we weren't like a thing. But you know, when we
Right.
first started, so you know, we were definitely friends. And I just remember thinking like I didn't want to ruin the friendship. You know, the whole cliche. I loved you as a friend, but I think I just didn't
Ouch.
want to ruin the I just
kidding.
didn't want to ruin the friendship.
Yeah, I was like good, maybe 120 pounds, 125 pounds, just scrawny. But I was funny though. That was
Yeah, you always made me laugh, and
Yeah.
so I mean, you did have
That was my
and you always
one-
had gum.
that was in my arsenal. Yeah, and I used gum. I mean, this sounds bad now, but like I used gum to make friends. Actually, Alex and Mosey talks about this, and I was doing this since I was like 13 years old. But yeah, I would always stop at the grocery store, or not the grocery store, the convenience store in the mornings, like once or twice a week, and I would buy a couple packs of gums, and I would just keep them in my backpack, and that way, if anybody ever needed gum, I was like, yeah, I got gum. And it's a great way to make friends.
Yeah,
I was
it
friends
worked.
with like the entire fucking school.
Everyone loved you because you always had the gum.
Yeah.
Like in high school, that's a big deal.
Yeah,
no
I
one wants
also-
bad breath.
I got to a point too where I realized like, okay, this is pretty cool. And then I bought those little, you remember those little juices that you can twist the top off of? Like little plastic, it comes in a plastic bottle that you twist the top off of. I used to buy 6-packs of those, like 2 or 3 6-packs, and I would sell them because a 6-pack was $1.
Oh,
And I would sell them for 50 cents.
That's smart.
Yeah. So I only made like 50 cents or something.
Little
like that.
entrepreneur though.
Yeah. But I was like, that's how I would use that money for lunch money for the vending machines.
Man.
Yeah. So gum and those, I forget those twist cap juices were, but that was my first.
Yeah, you were the
endeavor as
go-to
a
person. Okay,
businessman.
so what did you think of me? And I know you said that you liked me, but
Easy.
also, why didn't you ever try? Like, because when we fast forward to when we actually started dating, I am the one who actually told Jeff that I liked him first. So why did you never even try to date me?
This is gonna sound really, really cliche, but I promise it's the truth. I didn't think that I was good enough. And that might sound kind of sad, but like the reality is like I viewed Taylor as, and I still do, as like this, you can tell, like anytime you spend time with her, anyone who spends time with her, you know, like she's one of a kind. She's very unique, very special. And, you know, the way I grew up, you know, I had very low self-esteem in myself and my abilities. And what's one of my favorite things about her, she's brought that out of me and helped me really open up, you know, getting close to my full potential. Because that's the biggest reason. I was like, I can be her friend, but like I'll never be good enough to date her. The only reason I would say the biggest reason why I never actually approached it was, number one, like a biggest thing was lack of confidence in myself, and I didn't think that I was worthy of dating you.
That is crazy to me because I remember thinking, like, whoever gets Jeff as a husband, and I literally remember having this conversation with my best friend in high school and said, whoever dates Jeff is going to be the luckiest girl ever, like, or marries Jeff. Like, whoever gets that opportunity is
That's
going to be
crazy.
great. And I remember having that conversation,
Yeah.
which is nuts because now, you know, almost 12 years later, here we are.
Right. That is wild.
That is crazy.
We were talking about that yesterday on our walk too, or maybe it was this morning. I don't remember, but like just who we were 12 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And there's an entire decade of stories inside that, obviously, but so many things that we've just been able to learn through together along the way. It's been cool. It's been really cool.
Fast forward to when we actually started dating.
Okay.
Since, you know, we're just on this topic. It's actually kind of funny how Jeff asked me to be his girlfriend. So how we even got to the point where we got to start dating is it was at the time like when everyone, you know, it's prom time, everyone's in a relationship, and we were the only two people that were single. And someone was like, well, why don't you go with Jeff? And I was like, you know what, that's a good idea. And then I was like, you know, actually spending more time with him. He cut his hair. He started like lifting weights. And I was
That's
like,
right.
okay, who is this? And, you know, I think it was just us maturing too. And I started actually realizing it was going into like it was in your senior year that we actually started dating.
Yeah.
And I think I started realizing that the opportunity, like, you are going to leave high school, and the thought process of, oh, I don't want to lose him as a friend.
Right.
I was thinking, well, if you're going to leave high school anyways, I think that's where
Probably
my
gonna
head,
lose me as a friend.
yeah, I was
for
like,
the majority.
I'm probably going to lose you as a friend anyways. So, like I might as well shoot my shot kind of thing. And I was like, okay, everyone else is in relationships. Like that's kind of my in is I was like, well, we might as well go to prom together because, we're already friends and we don't have dates, right? So I told one of Jeff's best friends to have him ask me to prom. So then we played a little one-on-one basketball game because that was our thing in high school. We both played basketball, loved it. We played a little one-on-one basketball game, and Jeff said, if I beat you, I get to take you to prom. So I let him lose.
Okay. First off, I don't care who I was playing. Put LeBron on the court, and I'm winning that game. Like, I was taking you to prom. There's no way. Told me that just because I won didn't mean I got to take you. I still had to ask you.
Oh.
Which is
crazy. Look at
crazy.
me being a little like.
Yeah, I know. I was still scared, even though I won. I knew you were like, you wouldn't have played if you didn't want me to take you to prom. So, but I was still scared. And then like last second, she like left and like literally walked completely out of the gym into like toward the locker room. Mm-hmm. And another one of our best friends was in there, and he was like, bro. He's like, you got to go. And then he like ran to grab you, and I ran, and then like I remember opening the door and you were still there. And I asked you in like the hallway between the locker room.
Yeah,
and the gym.
because you were like running to catch up with me, and then you realized I was there, and then you were just like trying to play it cool, and then you were like,
I wasn't running.
will you go to prom with me? And I think I said no.
Yeah, you did.
And then I was
100%.
like, yes, I will, obviously. Like I was joking. I like to make him work for it, you know what I mean?
3 years of work. And still just throwing jabs.
12 years, let's be honest.
Yeah, you're right.
So then we go to prom, or we start planning for prom. And during this time, obviously we're spending a lot of time together. We're planning out our outfits, all these different things. And then I finally text Jeff one night, and I told him how much I liked him and all these different things. And then I didn't want to ruin our friendship. And and then he just didn't text me back for like a couple of days.
All right. First off, if I forgot
and so I was like, did I just ruin everything? I was freaking out.
That's so funny. No, I didn't know what to say. Like, how do you respond to that? Like, I mean, now I would have definitely said things differently, but I was just like, you got to think about where I was at in my life. I was like, I had no idea I knew that if I was going to date you, it was serious. Mm-hmm. And, I was like thinking I was going to go to the Marine Corps, thinking like there was a lot of things in my life. I had no idea how it was going to turn out. So it's like, I'm going back and forth, like, in my head. Of course I want to date her, but, I mean, this is what I've wanted my entire high school career, mm-hmm. right? But now it's, like, real. So, and now it's not only is it real, it's real at the end of my high school career where, like, I don't know what's next. Like, high school at the time was the only real foundation I had, or, like, any consistency routine. So it's like, I have this girl who is the picture-perfect girl for me. And now, like, if this would have been 3 years ago, there would have been no doubt in my mind. Bam, let's go. But now it's like, well, I'm an adult. Like, I'm about to be 18.
Mm-hmm. I still had another year of high school left too.
Yeah. So what am I gonna do? Like I had no real plans other than go to the military, and I knew going to the military was likely not gonna happen if we started dating. So it wasn't that I was like ignoring her. It was just I didn't know what to say. I knew what I wanted deep down, but it was like I wasn't sure if it was the right thing for her. And that was because you always have to, I think you always have to put the other person's best interest in play, right? Like, I don't know, like that's how I thought. Like, is it the best thing for me right now? Yeah, that'd be great. But what's best for them is who you are best for that person. Mm. And, at the time I wasn't sure, but what I realized is like the time that I was just your friend, like you, and obviously our other friends, like you guys made me a much better person. You brought a lot of like myself out of me, mm-hmm. where that was kind of like tucked away and hidden. And, so I realized I just was like, you know what? You can't say no to this. You can't, it's not even that it was a yes or no question. It was just like, you told me how you felt. And I was like, kind of like in disbelief too. I remember like texting Jordan and things like that and just being like, dude, sending screenshots and stuff. I didn't know what to think.
He eventually did text me back.
Yeah, I did. I said, what's up?
Yeah, he said he liked me too and all these
I probably
things.
wrote you like 6 pages. That's probably what it was. I was too busy typing. erasing and
And
typing
then-
and erasing.
So then fast forward to when he actually asked me to be his girlfriend. And so at this
So
point,
gangster.
yeah, oh my gosh, it's so funny looking back now. So, I told him I like him, all these different things. Then we start kind of like, we called it talking back then, like dating, I guess, but we weren't like officially girlfriend and boyfriend. But then, our first kiss was in the high school hallway.
It was a quick one.
It was a quick little peck. And then,
Hold up. It took me I had to muster up some real balls to do that. I got to say.
yeah,
Like,
you were
I remember
nervous.
thinking about that and then just being like, that's why I was so fast. Cause it was just like, you got to get it over with. Bam. And I did it. And I was like, I did it. I was so excited. So lame.
But at the time, so I had first lunch period and he had second, so it was broken up into two. So I was about to go on my lunch break and he was about to run back to class, and he hands me a note and I was like, oh yeah, cool. And I'm opening it up and he just darts away.
I was nervous.
He runs to.
Okay, I sweat a lot as is. When I get nervous, I mean, just like anybody who gets nervous, I sweat bad. And I remember like I was wearing a hoodie and it was just like pitted out. I was so
he
nervous.
runs to class and I'm opening it up. And then because it's papers inside of papers. So the first paper said Will. The next one said you, then be my girlfriend. And it's pretty cool. Actually, we still have the little girlfriend piece of paper in a little album I made from like, I don't know, 10 years ago or something. So we still have that somewhere. But with this, he tells me, will you be my girlfriend? And then he runs away. And then so I'm like, okay, well now I have to go embarrass him, because just like this ongoing thing, like again, it's like we were best friends for so long. So all of this stuff, it was like really easy when we started dating, but also it was natural, but we also like just naturally had a lot of like banter and stuff. Yeah. So I write no as big as I can on one piece of paper, and then just kidding, and then yes on the third piece of paper. And I go up to the class I knew that he was in, and there's like a little window, and the class is like in session. The teacher's talking.
Yeah, we're mid-class,
but the teacher's facing the class and the class is facing the window. So I put yes on the window glass, right?
No.
Well, I put no, and then I put just kidding, and then yes.
She put no first for the whole class to see. Because the whole school knew this was going on, because it was like, there's no way that's
so
real. And then, yeah, so she puts a no up, and everyone starts laughing. And then the teacher ends up seeing it too. And
the teacher turns around and just like laughs. But then I just run away.
Yes.
Yeah, and then I said yes.
And the teacher was also in disbelief, like, what? But she went with it. She's like, hey, that's cute.
But everyone was like, I remember Pud was in there. Like everyone was looking and like smiling and laughing. And so it's just funny to look back on. So then that's how we started, actually. That's how we met. And then that's, how he went from friend zone to end zone, as he says.
Yeah, it's my hashtag. It's really cool though, because there was a story like you were talking about. One of the other teachers there, our history teacher, Mr. White. He was awesome, man. Probably dating maybe a month. It wasn't very long at all.
I don't even, because I wasn't in this conversation. You told me this
right.
like years later.
Yeah. So word gets out to the teachers that
this is a very small school, obviously. If like teachers are involved, that's just normal.
Yeah, we went to a really small school, but yeah, word gets out to the teachers, and Mr. White stops me as I'm walking into class one day. In perspective that he had of me and the teachers had of me in high school, I wasn't a great kid, a great student. Let me put it that way. I wasn't a great student. I skipped class a lot. I did a lot of dumb things, right? And like, so for their perspective, they probably like I was a troublemaker in their eyes. So he stopped me on my way into class one day, and he was like, "Hey, son, I heard you and Miss Lawfer are dating." And I was like, "Yes, sir." And he was like, "I just want to let you know, that's a good one. She's one that you take home to mom. She's not like a different kind of girl."
Yeah.
And I was like, "I don't really know what that means, Mr. White, but I appreciate it." And I took on, went on my way into class, and like looking back at it, like as I've matured, it was so like, I'll never forget that moment. Like, because I didn't really know what he meant at the time. Like, I knew you were, like I said, I always knew you were special. Like to me, like you were what I wanted. But I also was never really like that. you said, I've always been kind of like a hopeless romantic. You know, I like romance. I like that kind of stuff. So, but I think his perspective was that I was just gonna like kind of date you and leave you kind of thing, or like,
Right.
you know, not take the relationship serious. And
Right.
I think he saw that this relationship had a lot of potential, and that you were someone that could really, you know, help me shape the rest of my life. And you had a lot of like that structure, and that you had the confidence that I lacked, which I think was why our relationship has, you know, really just gone so well and over the years. But yeah, I'll never forget that. It was a really cool part of my younger life.
Well, and at this time we were around like 16, 17 years old, I think.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. It truly flies by.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's important to kind of know where it all started and how it's developed. And, you know, also like, I mean, this is a conversation for a different day. Like we haven't had the perfect relationship. Like, I mean, we try to share our life now and try to share the good and the, you know, the advice, but you can't have the good without having some adversity.
Right.
And, you know,
it's growing pains too. Just
Yeah.
like anything else. Like you got to think, like,
we're 12 years
if
in.
you're friends with anybody for 15 years, like
Oh,
you're
yeah,
gonna
15,
have ups
yeah.
and downs. By no means do we ever try to like paint this picture of like, oh, we're
Yeah.
a perfect couple. Like, no, like our house isn't perfect, our cars aren't perfect, our life isn't perfect, our relationship isn't perfect, like our finances aren't perfect. We're just doing our best to stay positive through all of that. And I think that's something that I think I've brought, you know, to you a lot is, you know, like we're gonna get through it. Like that's how I lived my life. I grew up that way of like, okay, that happened. Well, you have two options. You either don't get through it or you do. And like, I never considered the other option. You know, it's always like, you're going to get through it. You're going to figure it out. And I kind of bring that figure it out mentality to you a little bit. I feel like.
I feel like we do balance each other out very, very much. Like we're very similar in a lot of ways and we're very different in a lot of ways. I don't feel like we know it all by any means.
Hell no.
I feel like we've learned a lot.
Yeah.
And we've grown a lot. And we've put we have been in such uncomfortable situations on a consistent basis in order to grow.
Oh, yeah.
Right. Like this has been like I feel that we do a great job of continuously pushing ourselves, pushing the limits and setting bigger goals, setting scary goals, and
even
doing things.
Take this entire situation into, you know, that example. Like, we've talked about this for the last 2 years. And then it's just like, okay, cool. Talk about it, do it. And that's kind of everything that's gotten us to where we are. Like, that's, I think one of the biggest lessons is like, get uncomfortable. It's cliche to say, don't settle, but don't settle. Like really, like if you wanted to go try something, like you only get one chance in this life. And if you want to do it and you don't, I feel like that's going to be way more painful than actually doing it and falling or failing and looking back and getting embarrassed. Like so many things that we've looked back on and like, oh, wow, we really messed up there, right? But, you know, if we didn't do those things, I would much rather look back at that and be like, okay, that's funny. We can laugh at that because look, we got here. But versus just looking back and be like, man, what if we would have done that? Where would we be if we would have started that YouTube, right? Like,
yeah.
And it's not even about where we'll be. It's more about like what we'll do. Like we've always been focused on helping people and impact. And, you know, I think that's another reason why we mesh so well together as a young couple was because our intent for life was very similar. Like we didn't want to get rich and famous. And it was always more about like, what kind of impact can we create? How can we help people? And that for us in the beginning just happened to revolve around fitness. But as we've grown and matured and we've expanded our own experiences, we've opened that up to many different other things now. Like we coach not just on nutrition and fitness, we coach on a lot of different things like business, social media, mindset, development, leadership. Like we coach in all of those areas now in our lives, but only because we have the experience to, because we put ourselves in those uncomfortable positions, like you said.
And we seek out more of that knowledge. Like we spent like our Saturday night literally studying
on
and
New
watching
Year's Eve, dude.
on
not just a Saturday night, New Year's Eve.
Yeah, we went and got some stuff for meal prep and then also studied and watched videos learning about YouTube and getting into these different things that we want to try out because, again, it goes back to the purpose. I think figuring out your purpose, being aware of where you're at and taking action is really what it comes down to. And we all have these little desires or deep desires that we consider or think about doing. But when you're setting goals, like Jeff said, is you really only have one life. And I feel that I've always had that deep down in me where I'm just like, why not? Like, Sure, I might not be the best. People might think it's dumb or they might not like it. It might not be for everyone, but why not try? Because it might help somebody and it might help one person. And it's been cool to see the people that have reached out to us and said that we've made a little blimp of change in their life and their mindset, in their goals, and really just help them get there. Because I've actually been doing a lot of reflecting on like the last year and really thinking about where I want to go and like what I've been focusing on, how I've grown as a person. And I feel like I've grown more. The more I take action, the more I grow. And a lot of people, they want to say like, I want these big things. I want confidence. I want, to achieve my goals, but it's not for me. And I understand that. However, I truly believe that you can do anything that you want to do if you're willing to suck a little bit at first, if you're willing to show up, if you're willing to be consistent, and if you're willing to just do it, and if taking action. Like, it all comes down to taking action, because through that action, you're going to learn, you're going to get better, you're going to, realize what you like and what you don't like. Because we might do this and say, oh my gosh, that was so much fun, let's keep doing it. Or we might hate it. I don't know, but you'll never know if you don't try.
I think another piece of that too is like when you take action, this is a really cool thing that we've learned through experience. When you take action, you catch the attention of other people who are ahead of you doing exactly what you're doing. And that's good because those people are willing to teach you. Mm-hmm. And that's a big lesson that we learned. And like, I'm not even like speaking from the YouTube aspect, but thinking about fitness, thinking about business. Like, when I first started exercising and training and working out, like just like anyone else, I had no idea what I was doing. I didn't even know my way around a gym. I didn't know how to use the equipment. Like, YouTube and asking questions is how we figured it out. And then guess what? When people see you showing up consistently in the gym and working out and giving your best effort, even if you don't know what you're doing, you show up and you try, other people in the gym see that effort and they start like saying, hey, this dude's really trying. He's not doing everything right, but he's working hard. He's consistent. Okay, cool. Now you can lean on them. They come to you. They give you some guidance. They give you some help. They teach you. Cool. Next thing you know, now you're understanding that to a point. Now you can give that knowledge back to other people. And that's the same concept, like how we got into our role with First Form. Same thing. Like we took a jab at an opportunity that we had no idea what it would turn into, or even the thought that like we didn't even think we were going to get a chance to have the opportunity. We thought it was way out of our league, but we took a shot. We were willing to try. Cool. Okay, that led to us having careers, being, one of the first 50, 60 employees of the company. Like, that's pretty cool, right? And like, so now we get to learn from, some of the best in the world and from business. We've got to meet some of the top, entrepreneurs in the world and learn from them. That's incredible. But we would have never gotten that if we didn't just say, let's try. Let's do it.
I think that really ties back, though, into our conversation about a relationship, because think about like what you said. You invested in the relationship with me for 3 years.
Right.
Never doing anything disrespectful. Always having my back. Being a great... You can see her stretching.
That was so cute. That was a so big cute stretch. You look like a little seal.
Oh, that was so sweet.
I just want to hold you in my arms right now.
Oh, she's so cute. But that was hilarious. But you invested in the relationship with me for 3 years, being a great friend, showcasing really what it would be like to get to date you or get to be, your partner or best friend or whatever that is. And like, you continuously showed up day in and day out, even knowing that you may never have a chance to like actually date me. But it's the same thing like with your career or with YouTube. Like, we're consistently showing up and putting in the work and doing it with the right intent because you genuinely cared about me, just like we genuinely care about our people that, want to spend any time with us. It's just cool. And when you go into things with the right intent and you're willing to do it for a long period of time, because everything we've done, people sometimes, oh guys, you're so lucky. We have never, like with our relationship, with First Form, with, like our careers, nothing has ever come easy.
Oh yeah.
And nothing's ever come quickly. Mm-hmm. Everything we've done has been challenging and built over time.
Yeah, literally everything I can think of that we're proud of a lot of things, but some of the biggest accomplishments that we have, like they honestly, they came like 3-4 years after, we ever thought about the idea, and like, that's our whole mindset with everything now is just like, you got to commit, you got to go all in on it. If you want to do it, you got to understand that it's not like, we've learned that fortunately through our relationship and through many other things that this isn't a 30-day trial. This isn't a 6-month trial. Like, if you're going to do it and you want to make it work, that's exactly what it's going to take. You have to make it work. You can't think that you're just going to start a YouTube and it's just going to happen. You can't just get in a relationship and, start dating the girl of your dreams and it's just going to work out forever. Like, you have to continuously invest in your own education. You have to always be learning, right? There's so much that goes into it that, like I said, I feel like this is an entire, like, we could talk about this subject on its own for a full hour. But I think the biggest thing you hit, though, is like that. I feel like so many people quit on their relationships and they quit on their careers. They quit on their goals. They quit on, whatever it is they have their mind set out to do before they gave it enough time for it to actually work. And that's really sad to think because, if I would have given up after, 2 years, that third year was a year where, everything changed, right? Like everything just lined out to be like, oh, well, if I don't take the shot, then I'm going to lose him as a friend anyway. So, but if I would have given up a year earlier, that would have never happened.
Well, and with our careers, with First Form, we were a part of First Form for 2 years with, little to no success.
Yeah.
And that third year, we randomly got a phone call saying, hey, would you guys want to come move to St. Louis and work, here full time?
Yeah.
And
Which
that
has
was in the third year.
Opened the door for so much education and opportunities that have, really just taught us so many skills to be able to now give back. And we've been able to help, thousands of people just with small things that hopefully will lead them to big things.
Yeah. And I think that's a good point to end on is that I feel that, it's like that. We've all seen that meme where the guy's hammering and hammering and hammering and he gives up right before he reaches the gold.
Yeah.
And I feel that that's what most people do, especially like, I feel a lot of people right now are setting big goals. And I think that's amazing. I think no matter what time of the year, no matter where you are in your life, set goals and set them way bigger than you think. And then start working towards them.
Yeah,
and
build a
don't
plan.
Give up. Yeah, build a plan. But don't if it's not working right away, that's normal.
Yeah.
Don't give up. Like, just keep going because you might be right at the brink of actually seeing success. Yeah. And I think that truly most people fail because they quit too soon.
Exactly. That's so the 2 points that I have, they're literally echoes of that. But Andy, these are the 2 pieces of advice Andy gave me and a group of 14 other individuals. He said there's 2 things that will really make you successful in life no matter what you do. Number 1, don't ever fucking quit. Number 2, you're going to make mistakes. Don't make the same mistake twice. So essentially the message there is like, don't give up, and it's okay to fail, but it's only okay to fail if you actually learn from your failures, right? You can't just fall on your face and be like, oh, okay, I'm going to keep going. And then you fall on your face doing the exact same thing again. It's like, okay, you can't keep repeating the same mistakes. That's the problem, right? You have to learn from your mistakes if you really want to progress. So it takes a little bit of like proactiveness and being aware of like, okay, I failed, self-evaluate, be honest with yourself. Why did this not work? Okay, well, it didn't work because I said this instead of this, and this didn't work here because I did this. Cool. Guess what? Don't say that again, and then don't do that again, and try again the next time. You're likely going to get a different result. Even if you fail, you're going to fail because of a different thing, which means you found out something else that doesn't work that you get to change, and you get to fail again and figure out what else doesn't work. Eventually, you're going to fail enough that you figure out what fucking works.
I feel like that's how we've accomplished everything.
Everything. Literally everything. It's just like, oh, we sucked. We figured this out.
But we get a little bit better every single time, and we just won't quit.
Dude, the thing that a lot of people don't talk about too with the failure and like actually recognizing your mistakes with failure is that actually gives you confidence. Because I know for both of us, like when we realize, like, take just YouTube for example. Okay, we make a video. Cool. The video did okay, but it's not a perfect video. Awesome. We failed because it wasn't a perfect video. So we learned from that. Now when we go to make the next video, guess what? We feel even better. We have more confidence about it because we realize something that didn't work that we can improve. Mm-hmm. So when you actually take time to be proactive about what you're fucking up, you get to realize the solutions. And when you have solutions, you're way more confident. When you have confidence, things work out better for you.
But you'll never gain that confidence, and you'll never gain the knowledge. You'll never gain the perspective if you never try.
Facts.
Boom.
Nailed it.
We really hope you liked this episode.
I had fun.
This was fun.
Yeah.
I think we'll continue to do these, and we'll get better. Just like we talked about. This is our first time ever doing anything like this, so it's going to be a learning experience. But I really do love the opportunity to get to connect better with the people that are a part of our community here, and to continue to build that. Like, this is something that we absolutely love doing, and it's going to be really cool to watch this grow.
Yeah, I'm so excited. And like just like any new adventure that we've taken on over the years, like I can't wait for the friendships and the people that we get to meet because of this new adventure. The outro, we didn't talk about this.
Yeah, I don't know how to end this.
Peace. I like it. Nailed it.
Should be what we do?
I mean, I'm down with that.
All right.
You just want to say, you want us to both say peace?
No.
Okay.
I feel like
wasn't
that's
cool with
weird.
that.
That's gonna be real weird.
I was not okay with that.
No, we can just.
I was gonna give it a shot.
We'll figure it out.
Okay.
And then also, if you guys think of any names, like.
Yeah, we're trying to. We want to have a name that's meaningful, but also we don't want it to be like corny,
I really gotta pee.
All right.
Okay, bye guys.
Nailed it.